Thank you all for being here today. Feel blessed that I could see all of your faces on this evening when you have other things to be doing. So you're here for the Environmental Student Organization. My name is Alena Trotter. I am the president and founder of this student organization. And the purpose of this organization is to assist environmentality. We have been collecting recyclables and also spreading the word about environmental topics, as well as spreading awareness on Mississippi College's campus with the student body. This is Mr. Derek Augustus. Would you like to say a few things about yourself?
Sure, thank you. Well, my name is Derek Augustus, and I have a small recycling company, and it really is small. And we are thankful for this partnership that we have here because we, of course, think it's important, and that's why y'all are doing it as well. And what we do there is we gather various recycling commodities for recycling. I call them commodities because they have a value. And when you buy something like this, most people don't see this bottle. They see only what's inside, and they don't think about it. So there's two things you're purchasing, and it's hard to stay mindful of that because we live in a fast-paced society. But there's a lot of people who recycle with us. Residential is mostly what we do, curbside, and that's a subscription because it does cost money and time to go through. We specialize in small volumes because there's a lot of big recycling companies that will go around and pick up giant quantities, like behind a Walmart or something. There's bales of cardboard, and that's already catered to. So, we kind of wanted to find areas that weren't being catered to. So we started out just collecting glass, and then the city of Jackson suspended their curbside recycling, mostly due to the cost. And then we were ready to shift gears and started promoting ourselves for that service too. And we pick up mixed recycling, and then we sort it into different categories, and then we bale it. Most things we bale. The glass, we break that and ship full truckloads, which usually is around 40,000 pounds. So even a small company like us with small contributions, it's usually just a couple of garbage bags at each location a couple times a month. We get hundreds of thousands of pounds of material diverted from the landfill to be used again. And we're very thankful that we are now able to do programs such as what we do here, which is a free program because it's sorted for us. So, and it's in a pretty good size volume. The sacks that we fill, it makes it a lot easier to handle it if it's a high volume or medium volume that's already kind of separated. And we hope to see some increase, in what we're collecting here, and I sure appreciate y'all's efforts in going out there and pushing it because it can be tricky, and I know that contamination is a deal, and it's you got to really care to do that. So I appreciate y'all's caring. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Here are our sponsors for the Environmental Student Organization. Dr. Trent Selby and Ms. Pamela Clevenger. They assist us with organizing meetings, and they give us advice on what to do next. As you can see on this photo, this is our recycling bin. We have a flyer above the bin that gives a small demo on how to recycle these bottles. So we want to be as efficient as possible. So we ask people to empty their bottles completely, unscrew the lid, and then crush them. This minimizes the wasted space and allows us to collect more. We have many bins across campus. We have them in every single residence hall, the library, Avon, and MCC. And we have bi-weekly check and pickup, if necessary, with the assistance of the electric golf carts. We have our supervisor who has helped us. His name is Mr. Billy, and he's allowed us to use his golf cart. So before you can ride on the golf cart, of course, you need your driver's license. You need to go through an online test and then go to the physical plant, sign in, strap in the cart like our historian is doing here. And we drive around. It takes only an hour to collect all the bottles across campus. And then we come back and unload them at the physical plant. And we have done so much so far. We have already collected almost 2 sacks full of plastic bottles, which is about 48 pounds of plastic. That is just incredible to me. My mind is blown. And I need to say that this club was just started last semester in February. So we really have made so much progress. Can anybody in the crowd tell me, why do you think it's necessary to recycle? Any thoughts?
Reduce pollution.
That's good. That is very true. The plastic that goes into our landfills does have the potential to release chemical additives. And these additives are added in to increase flexibility and also give it its transparency. And one chemical, for example, is BPA, bisphenol A. This is a very water-soluble compound that will leach out whenever it's exposed under high heat. So can you imagine, this is a real-life scenario, somebody throws away their PVC pipe, or whatever PVC plastic. It goes out into the landfill, it's exposed to the UV rays of the sun, and the high heat and the rainfall causes the BPA to wash out, and it collects in our water. It eventually goes to our water treatment plants, where our treatment plants are not specialized to remove BPA. So this industrial plastic is releasing toxic chemicals into our water that we will eventually indirectly take back up. Not only is it affecting our health poorly, but it's very costly. Plastic is made with crude oils, which is a non-renewable resource. Eventually, we will run out of crude oils with how we are heading. So it's important to reuse what we've already have. And we can create jobs in the process to help people who may not have a job. If you go to the supermarket, you look around at all the produce and the food, you see people putting their apples and bananas in plastic bags. You go get a bread loaf from the bakery, it's in a plastic bag. Everything's in plastic. What do we do with this plastic? We don't have many options to recycle in certain areas of Mississippi. Thankfully, we do in Clinton. But for the plastic that does go to the landfills, it breaks down into microplastics. And eventually, it breaks down into nanoplastics. And this can be either inhaled, because nanoplastics can be swept up into the air, similarly to dust, and it gets trapped in our bronchi. This has been shown to cause oxidative stress and cell death whenever you breathe in nanoplastics. But for the microplastics that wash into the water and are collected in, for example, a lake, fish will breathe it in, digest it, and then it gets incorporated into their muscle fibers. Whenever we eat fish with microplastics, we end up having microplastics in our bodies, and that typically collects in our lymph nodes. It is very difficult to say what the effects of plastics are inside the body because of the limited research that has been done on humans. However, it has been shown in mice to cause endocrine disruption as well as fertility issues? We don't know because it's such a new idea and topic that has recently developed in the past decade. That's for your guided notes. So here is a visual to show how many plastic bottles are consumed across the world in 1 hour. It is the Christ the Redeemer statue that's located in Brazil is 38 meters high. Now, as you can see, this plastic bottle pile is taller than this statue. And this accumulates every hour, and there's 24 hours in a day. I can't fathom just how much plastic we are consuming and then disposing of just carelessly and ignoring the effects that it eventually have on us and our children later on. Can anybody in the crowd tell me what type of plastic we may recycle? As you can see, we have polyethylene terephthalate, number 1, high density polyethylene, number 2, and then low density polyethylene.
Probably number 1, right?
That's correct. We do recycle PETE. And all of these bottles right here, the clear plastic bottles, are PETE. But plastics that are not see-through, like these, are made of a different type of plastic. They have a different chemical composition, so we are unable to recycle them together. Whenever these plastics are mixed in, sometimes involuntarily, whenever they are shredded, they have different melting points, and that'll mess up the product. Do you have anything else to add to this?
Yes, so it is true that one of the rare industry standards is that a see-through bottle is always PET. And there's a lot of material that we see that does not have that simple of a standard. We have to flip over the bottom and look at it and to know how to put it to the right place. But luckily, this standardization really speeds things along and makes it easier for everyday recycling to be understood, especially in this program. And I just want to clarify that there are a lot of products. This is the most used post-consumer plastic, and that's probably why I got the 1. It is the highest volume globally. And some other products are made from this that are recyclable, but they're not recyclable with bottles. So cups, clamshells that spinach comes in, and a lot of to-go clamshells can be this. It's not always this. Some of the see-through plastic is going to be polystyrene, number 6. But we did not know that when we started collecting these, and we had so much. And then we had a plastics guy come in and tell us that it had to be, every other PET product had to be separated. So that, I'm glad we learned at that point before starting to bale it all, because we were collecting this before we had any machinery whatsoever. We were just kind of figuring it out as we were going. So, but apparently, from what I understand, a lot of those other products have glycol. And the glycol, it's usually a low percentage, changes the melting point. The base plastic is the same. But because all of those are actually made out of a sheet that's is called thermoform, it's molded. A sheet is shaped over a mold, whereas these are blown. And anytime the top is smaller than the bottom, it's going to be a blow mold. It's 2 pieces that are together with high pressure blow into the hot plastic, expands out, and then that mold separates its 2 pieces. So the way they make the sheet apparently requires glycol, and so we can't take those in this particular program. And in fact, I've heard in California, they have even pushed to get the number 1 off of everything that's not the bottle, because they recycle differently. And so far, I haven't seen that, but it is an issue. So just keep that in mind when you're dropping off your number one bottles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really do wish we would make a distinct number difference between those two.
Yeah, that would be helpful, because it's confusing. And but as more of us learn about it, we'll be able to potentially push the industries to standardize things, just as we pushed with BPA. That was totally a consumer-driven push that changed what they had to do. And now you can see BPA free on a lot of things. And they weren't going to do that on their own, a lot of them, so that's part of why we're doing this, is to learn about it, and so we can help change it.
That's why we're here, for the Environmental Student Organization. So this just shows where the resin code would be. It's typically on the bottom of any plastic product. And here are our volunteering opportunities. So like I mentioned before, we have an electric golf cart that we can put the sack onto, and we can collect the recyclables. If we go to every single bin, that takes a little bit under, maybe over an hour. But if we get 1 or 2 trash bags, one trash bag may take 10-15 minutes tops. So if you have some time in between a class, perfect opportunity to get some volunteering hours. We would also love to engage with the student body and start spreading the word about recycling. So if you would like to just talk to people and socialize during the football game or before the football game, we have tailgating booths set up so you can come and enjoy the festivities and all that. We have an Instagram in order to spread the word and get more people involved in recycling. So if you get 30 followers to our social media page, then you will get 1 hour. My logic is you spend 2 minutes per person. You tell them, hey, have you heard about ESO? Here's what it is. You should totally follow us and then join our club. And also, we will be needing some people to post some signs and flyers as the years continue. And this is a great opportunity for leadership. So if you do take charge and you want to become an officer, you should volunteer some more. And the requirements to be an active ESO member are simply to attend 2 out of 3 meetings and to volunteer for at least 2 hours. And guess what? You already have 1 out of 3 meeting requirements filled. Isn't that so much fun? You're almost there. So here are our next meeting dates, October 15th and November 19th. And then the tailgating event that we wanted to be at would be the homecoming football game on October 26th. So I would encourage each of you to pull out your phones and scan this QR code. This is the environmentality website that Derek Augustus is the CEO of. It just shows a little bit about their history, their motivation. It shows more about their program. So if you'd like to scroll through and read more, you're welcome to. And that is it. Thank you all for being here. If you'd like to learn more, just come up to the front and talk to us.